Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who Big Finish review. In today's Big Finish review, we'll be taking a look at the Annihilators, the first third Doctor release of the year, part of Big Finish's relaunch for 2022, so it's very exciting. And this story is bold and epic, and it's showing that this is part of the relaunch because they're exploring the format and different story structures, because this is a Season 7 style story, so that's already a thumbs up, because Season 7 is a god tier season of Doctor Who, and it was the first sort of Pertwee stories I watched getting into classic Doctor Who, Spared from Space and Inferno. So I'm quite protective over Season 7, and Season 7 is just such a different season compared to all of Doctor Who, so there's something quite special about it. It's a 7-part story, the first time Big Finish have done that, so that's a real big thing to be intrigued about. We've got Michael Troughton playing the second Doctor. This is his first time playing his dad's character, so we'll find out whether that's good. We've got Fraser Hind playing Jamie, of course. You can't have the second Doctor without Jamie, and who doesn't love Fraser Hind and Jamie? He's great. So yeah, there's quite a lot to dive in about this, so the review for this is going to be a little bit different. I don't have the CD because it hasn't arrived, and because it's a 7-part story, there's a lot to unpack. I just thought I'd do my sort of brief thoughts on the story and then leave the rest for you to discover, because it's a 7-part story. I'm not going to cover all the details and ruin it for you, because it's an interesting one to say the least. It's an interesting story. So if you're new around here and you haven't checked out any of my Big Finish content, then please do feel free. I'll leave a link in the description below to my Big Finish review playlist. I review plenty of other third Doctor releases, like Scourge of the Cybermen and Volume 7 and a few other volumes, and of course me and Luke, who I do streams with, have tier listed the third Doctor Adventure range, so you can see what we think of all the stories so far. Again, I'll leave the link in the description below to that. So if you like your Big Finish content and you're new around here, then please do consider hitting that subscribe button, because it really does help the channel out. And yeah, it's all good. So without further ado, let's dive into some good old third Doctor in the Annihilators. After the 2021 third Doctor Big Finish output, which began pushing forward and exploring different aspects of his era from Season 7 and Season 11, with those volumes being incredibly enjoyable, especially Volume 7 with the Unzil Incursion being a highlight of the set for me, with it being Big Finish's first foray into the first full cast story of Season 7. So when this was announced we will be getting a Season 7 story, with it being a 7-parter, I was really excited, as Season 7 has a completely different feel to any other Doctor Who season. And then it was announced that the second Doctor and Jamie would be joining this outing, which left me feeling a little bit confused, as Season 7 is all about a fresh start, and it being Michael Troughton's first go at playing the Doctor, I thought that this was a bold move by Big Finish, and normally the recasts are given a chance to settle in and find their feet before diving into something as big as a multi-Doctor story. Now, Nick Briggs said that he wanted a gear change for the story to sustain 7 parts, so did it work? I would say that this is a lovely addition to the third Doctor Big Finish catalogue, full of action, thrills, but wonderful character moments, whether that be with the Doctor and Liz, the Brigadier reuniting with Jamie. It has a lot to offer and to enjoy. Now, with this being a 7-parter, you could say that this story could make listeners feel quite daunted, but the story just whizzes along, with the episodes being around 20 to 24 minutes, and I think episode 7's the longest, which is 29 minutes. This story just feels like you can rattle through it very easy. It's a very quick listen, I feel. The story itself, we see Unit called to investigate at Lugate Docks as there's something in the water, strange green substance with a horrid smell, which ties in well with sort of Season 7 sort of green slime like in Inferno. Now, part 1 of this story is available free on the Big Finish website. If you're subscribed to the Big Finish newsletter, you can have access to part 1 of this story. So if you want to dip your toes in and you're not quite sure about committing to buying it just yet, then there is part 1 there for you to check out if you want to. Now, the stuff all in the docks are brilliant. You can really visualise the sort of the griminess and the grimness of it, with that sort of grainy quality what Season 7 style stories have. And we have the Brigadier locking horns with DCI Denise Walker, who is a great cold steely character, leading Unit to get a little bit suspicious, as she doesn't really want Unit to be involved, and she fits the story quite well, very much like Professor Lawrence in the Silurians and Inferno with Professor Starman. But one of the questions they can't help but ask, one of the questions they ask is who sent for Unit's help. This story really does have a great mystery woven in, and we have Unit making a makeshift base in the docks, with Liz examining the slime and the Doctor off to examine a dead body. Things aren't all adding up, as something is happening to gravity and the days are speeding up, yet the Doctor's watch is telling the accurate time, so something is approaching Earth and it's ready to bring Armageddon to Earth. As the title suggests, it's going to annihilate the Earth. So we're introduced to the first alien threat, the Greshtonal, these green sort of slime creatures, and these are wonderfully realised as we see Liz and Sergeant Sinclair, who is a wonderful supporting character, being attacked by the Greshtonal. But they're helped by good old Jamie and the Doctor. Now, the build-up for the reveal of these characters is brilliant, from the TARDIS suddenly appearing on the road, which reminds me very much of Spearhead from Space when the Auton bursts out onto the road from the forest. Now, Jamie is a fantastic addition to this story. Arguably, this is Fraser Hines' best performance, and his chemistry with the Third Doctor is very touching. But the moments Jamie gets with Liz and them talking about the Doctor and not realising that they're talking about a different Doctor is super. Now, this is when we get our second alien threat introduced, which is the Helt, who are here to stop the Greshtonal on their sacred mission, while the second Doctor is being interrogated by the Greshtonal. Now, Michael Troughton, I will say, does a very good job. Listening to him within this story, it works a lot better. I don't feel like the trailer does it justice. I think that you have to have context for, Michael Troughton's performance, and it works very well. I think especially there are moments in sort of the latter end of the story where I go, yeah, that's Patrick Troughton. So we have units joining forces with the Helt to stop the Greshtonal, leading to a full-on action, sort of Ambassador of Death style shootout. As time speeds up and gravity keeps shifting, the apocalypse has started, and we have a tremendous twist within the story as the true mission of these aliens are revealed, which fits Barry Letts' sort of vision of the show incredibly well, meaning that the Doctors have to join forces and contact to stop all this from happening, leading for the story to go all full circle, linking back to the start in a non-linear way, which is sort of a classic Briggs thing. Briggs likes to do sort of non-linear stories, but the story is told linear, but the way it links back, it is quite non-linear, so it's a nice little way. And the story ends in a very sort of Inferno style way, with a very strong moral message to end the story on. So yeah, really, really nice little story. So what are my overall thoughts on The Annihilators? The cast are really bringing their A game. Tim Trelaw is on fine form. Honestly, it's amazing how he just keeps getting better and better each story he does. It's just tremendous, and I think that there were moments within The Annihilators where I was like, my god, that's John, and that is a real high praise, because, the Third Doctor's my favourite Doctor, so it's all good. Daisy Ashford playing Liz Shaw, she is eerily good. I think that last year with Volume 7 and River Song, she's just really become very eerily like her mom's voice. It's spooky. You really can hear Caroline John within Daisy Ashford. She's really got the rhythm and the intonation of her mom, which really makes it just eerily spooky listening to it. It's just crazy. And of course, we have John Coleshaw, who is just pitch perfect as ever. Fraser Hines is marvellous as you would expect. And Michael Troughton, this is the start of his journey, and I'm excited for what's to come, as he's off to a promising start. The story for me really has cemented the Third Doctor Adventures are becoming one of the finest ranges Big Finish produces. The sound design, the music really is evocative of the era. You can really hear the love what's been poured in to create this story. The monsters are executed well, and for a 7-part story, it just rockets by. I definitely will be revisiting this in the future. This has great action pieces, epic scale to the story. It just feels very bingeable. This story has definitely earned a place to go alongside the TV Season 7 stories. This really is a love letter to that era, using elements from this story we all know and love to create this new iteration of Season 7 style story. And the cliffhanger is great. Part 6 cliffhanger is a real delight. I think that this is a real great addition to the Third Doctor line, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think that it's a strong outing for the Third Doctor range. And for a 7-parter, Nick Briggs really did nail it. I think that this is a fine addition to the Third Doctor catalogue. And yeah, it's made me excited for Beyond the War Games, because I think Michael Troughton is only going to get better and better. And I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see what Big Finish have got in store for the Third Doctor next. We've had teasers of more Sarah Jane stories, so that would be great to have sort of maybe a 6-parter with Tim Trelaw and Sadie Miller. That would be wonderful. But yeah, this is a wonderful 7-part story. If you're a little bit scared of it being a 7-parter, don't. It's a really quick listen. The parts are very short, and you listen to it and you're like, oh, that was quick. So it just feels like a story you can easily rocket by and binge listen to. It is a real highlight and definitely one of my favourite releases of the year so far. It'd be interesting to see if Volume 2, well, the next Third Doctor release will top it. I think it's got a hard job because it's Season 7, and you know, Season 7's a really good season. So that has been my review of The Annihilators, just a little brief overview of the story and my thoughts. Really good one, really good one. I definitely do recommend it if you're a Third Doctor fan. It's a real delight, and it's great to see Big Finish pushing the format. And I think that's the joy of this relaunch, that we get to explore different story lengths, and it is wonderful, and it not be sort of contained to, oh, we've got to do 2 4-part stories. It's great that we have that variety, because the Third Doctor era is majority 6-parters, so it's nice that we can go back to that more traditional sort of story length for the Third Doctor. So thank you very much for watching this Big Finish review. Hopefully I'll see you on my next Big Finish review, whatever that will be. And I will see you very soon, so please do like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And I'll see you next time for more Doctor Who related content. So thank you very much, and goodbye.